Good evening, NGG. I know it's been quite some time since we've had any content. K-Migs, I'm so sorry. But, I'm back. Gonna be talking mock draft. It's February. We're, kind of in the draft season. Senior Bowl happened. I didn't really pay much attention to it. I don't think anybody else did. Seems like the general sentiment on this class that it sucks. But, I mean, I do think there's some diamonds in the rough and still some pretty good players at the top. We're just gonna get right into it. Rudy was offsides. Vasquez, one of our newer members, congratulations on winning the 101. I believe you won it last year as well and took Travis Hunter. This year I got him taking J Love, and I mean I got him taking him because he's pretty much the consensus 101 pick. Even though Vic's got some glaring need at QB, he's got plenty of cash to find someone in the vet auction or make a trade later for him, and Love's just the pick like everywhere. It's like Jeremiah Love, no matter how you want to swing it in like dynasty circles anywhere. I'll be shocked if it's anybody else. There's no reason to take Mendoza this high, because Love is just going to be a consistent. And well, I'm not going to jinx it, but just Love is the pick. 102, we've got Escobar Hippos, Nate, another one taking over an orphan last year. We appreciate him for sticking in, just sticking in there and hanging out through last year because it was like one of the league's worst orphans, and I don't even know if he won a game. I don't remember. But you're gonna get rewarded here, Nate. I got you taking Carnell Tate, wide receiver from Ohio State. 102 might seem a little high, but I mean, the class just kind of gets worse after these top five picks. It seems. I think you could make a case of your favorite between Makai Lemon, Carnell Tate, or Jordan Tyson. But Nate clearly doesn't need Mendoza here after he's traded for Lawrence. You got Cam Ward and Jordan Love as QBs. I think Tate's the best available here, and he probably gets the best draft capital in the NFL with that Ohio State tag. I don't really know if I've seen a mock where Lemon or Tyson went higher than Tate. So if Tate is the best receiver in the NFL's eyes, it makes sense for him to go 102 here for me. 103 is the implications. Blind Spiral is trying to come back after being left for dead last year with his cap hell that he was in. And he could use a plug-and-play wideout, which Makai Lemon is. And I got him taking Makai Lemon, wide receiver out of USC. I wouldn't fault him for going Tyson here if that's his preference, but, Makai Lemon has a career 3.00 yards per route run or something in all of his games that he's ever played in college, so it's hard to pass that up, especially considering Tyson has a bit of an injury history. But I've got him taking Makai Lemon, plug-and-play producer at wideout. 104, win like Flynn. I have him taking Mendoza because he fell down this far, and what's not to love other than win like Flynn taking a QB. He loves his QBs in Superflex and can stack with Bowers because there's no way Mendoza's not going to get drafted by the Raiders. I don't even think it's that hot of a take to think that he can drop this far in this year's draft because implications in the Hippos don't really need QBs. So unless they want to snipe him here and get Mendoza on a really cheap rookie deal, I don't really think it makes sense for either of those teams to grab him. So they'll just get receivers, and then Flynn can end up with the QB. Everybody's happy. 105 Luck Cardinals. I've got them taking Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. Morgan squad's pretty well balanced, but it's got to be the best available still. In Tyson, no matter where he lands, he's going to be an instant contributor as long as he's healthy. Assuming Puka stays in town, he gets that holdout deal signed. Tyson, and Tet's going to be a crazy 1-2-3 at wideout, and then Morgan's really just got to worry about his running backs and QB health to get into the playoffs, which he's still trying to, by the way. Sorry, shots fired. 106, Ticket to Ride, myself, my team. I got me taking Kenyon Sadiq, tight end to Oregon. My team's got some serious question marks on it after a disappointing year. Sadiq's just because he's a position of need at tight end, but he honestly might also be the best available at this point. Like I think I said earlier, this draft class seems like after the top five, there's just a drop off in talent. You can just kind of go whichever way you want to go. If you want to grab a wideout, grab a running back, but some of these running backs after Love don't really know. I don't think they might not even see a round 2 running back in this draft. We'll see, how the NFL draft plays out because that's obviously going to impact all this. But Kenyon Sadiq seems like best available right here. But I mean, just to keep you guys guessing, I'll share that I do like Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper Jr., and Jadarian Price. So we've got some options. Speaking of Price, at 107, the implications, that's who I have them taking next. Jadarian Price for RB out of Notre Dame. might be a bit of a reach, but I mean RB's pretty thin in this class. Like I said, the talent drop off after Love is pretty significant. So grab them while you can. And the implications do need some running backs. They know they have Kenneth Walker, trying to compete in that division now. You're going to need more running backs. Why not grab the arguably the second best one in the class? He just didn't get much opportunity behind Jeremiah Love, but he seems like he's got a skill set translatable to the NFL, and Blind has that need at that position. 108, we have the Seawards taking Denzel Boston, wide receiver out of Washington. And I only have Rick drafting Denzel Boston because he's the son of David Boston, and I know Rick knows who that is. Dude was built like an ox, multiple 1,000-yard seasons in the league. I know Jerry Rice's son didn't pan out in the big leagues, but look, Denzel Boston's different, and he can play as a true X receiver. And I know Rick has plenty of wideouts, but what's one more? You know what I mean? 109, we have Escobar's Hippos. I have them grabbing KC Concepcion out of Texas A&M. Played wideout at New Mexico beforehand. Just seems like just could be a solid PPR asset. His tape has some explosive flashes, and just again, RB seems to have a drop off. I don't really know if Nate's going to want to try to compete just yet. So just stacked talent that could probably have ascending value over time. And I think Concepcion could be a good PPR asset. Maybe eventually he starts catching like 80 passes a year or something like that. 110 Liquidators. I have them going with Ty Simpson, QB out of Alabama. I'm not a big Simpson guy, and I think there are others in the league that agree with me. But the thing is, if he gets decent capital, which he probably is gonna, he'll get a shot, which means he'll also start a handful of games. Just the natural progression of things. We all thought Tyler Shuck was nothing, and then lo and behold, Flynn's got a stud in his hands. So Simpson might end up having fantasy value at QB, which is an important position. It just is what it is. I think it's worth the risk for Chase here at the 110, and I feel like he's pretty much locked into the playoffs next year unless tragedy strikes. Last thing you want is for Drake May to go down with injury and then not have a backup plan. So maybe Simpson is the backup plan, and maybe he gets him a W or something, or just scores points and has trade value. Two more picks here. The Kungsu Pandas have them taking Jonah Coleman out of Washington. Unicorn's trying to get over the hump after losing the finals twice in league history. He's been to the finals twice, lost both times. I was rooting for you, man. Just saying. And he doesn't have many glaring team needs this year, I don't think. Probably want to replace Alvin Kamara, so we'll go with that safe pick of Jonah Coleman. He's got the NFL size. I think he projects as a 3-down bruiser. He scored 15 or so times this year for the Huskies in college, so hope he gets a good landing spot. He's probably just going to be a safe pick at 111. And then 112, I got Rick again. I have him taking Trinidad Chambliss out of Ole Miss. Who knows if he's even going to make it to the draft or not, but with the last pick, I'm just going to go with him because it sounds like the NCAA isn't going to let him return to Ole Miss. And this guy's the true dual threat QB. So, maybe his draft capital isn't as good as some of these other QBs, but he's probably going to be like the clear number 3 in my eyes for fantasy purposes anyway. You get 50 rushing yards, that's 5 points right there. Unless Nussmeier gets better draft capital and has a starting chance somewhere, but who knows with his injury history. And, Chambliss just there's not like a ton of good tape on him, but he played really well for Ole Miss, and he's like going to be like 25. So I feel like at some point you got to go to the big leagues or just not play football, I guess. So I'm curious to see what happens with him, but I think he's a steal considering how weak the class is. And that's all for the mock draft. I'm not doing 113. I just talked about how the class sucks. So I kept this shit under 10 minutes, so you guys can thank me later. All right, bye.